Ho, DDP Yoga Warriors, it's Tenacious T and the place to be. Travis Roberts with Midwest Strong Fitness with yet another Tips from the Midwest Strong. So today I am actually working off some comments that I saw this week asking about with some people that are just starting their journeys there. You'll know who I'm talking about there. And some comments I've gotten from a few people on modifications for being on your knees. Because there are some people that I have talked to that have had knee replacements, or their doctor will say, you know, you really need to be careful about direct pressure on your knees. So when you're talking about this here, so right now if you look at me, I'm sitting in what I call Seiza position. In Seiza position, and a lot of people can't even get to this far here, but usually this is the traditional Japanese way of sitting dojo style. You're back on your heels here. Your toes are usually crossed like this. You're going to see where my feet are kind of crossed a little bit, just like that. Now, if you watch some of the videos, look back on DDP TV or Google, or do a search on YouTube on some of Dallas's earlier stuff there. You'll know he's rehabbed both knees. And you'll see at some of them, when he goes down, this is how far they can go. Because you got that scar tissue, really, so that mobility in the knees is pretty limited, okay? So you're going to work yourself back. You'll see there are some videos where you're working yourself back to break up that scar tissue, come back a little bit, come back up, come back a little bit. Here, eventually, you're going to come back up. Now, but that's not what we're talking about, but I'm just working my way into this here, right? So what we're talking about here is, if you're coming up on your knees, people have concern about having direct pressure on the knees down on the ground like this. Things to do. Well, there really isn't a lot that can be done. But there are some things you can do. One thing is, if you're going to be on here, you'll notice here, if I'm flat usually in the safety zone, feet are flat. Your weight is expanded a little bit more along your legs. It's not directly just focused on the knee. If we go up though, if we move up in the table position, you get more, as you go up in the table position, you're going to see more pressure coming up on the knee. It's still spread out onto the back of the legs. So one thing you want to do here, when you're coming up on the table, to make sure you don't have as much pressure on the legs, or on the knees rather, you got the foot right here, right? Push the tops of your feet down to the mat. And as you push your feet down, if you push the tops of your feet, push your shins down on the mat there, your knees are going to naturally just lift up just a little bit. So you're actually, just by accident, you're actually engaging your muscles in table. So think about this here, okay? So if I'm here, and I go and I push the tops of my feet or my shins right here, because what's here, you're right here like this, right? Now if I curve my toes, now if I go ahead and curve my toes though, now I'm up off the ground here, kind of in that half a dog position like we see in warm-up, right? Okay, so there's one thing that you can do, and you actually get some engagement that way. Okay? Your balance is still going to be a little bit off doing that, because if you do it this way, cat lift, cat arch, you're going to see a little bit of changing pressures in your knees. Okay? So this is where you start using what you have. You can use a towel. Some people have using a towel. There's Rebecca. I told you I'd give you credit for this here. There's one warrior that's just starting to work out there. You use a towel, and we'll put this under her knees. I suggested using one of these. Oh, you know what this is? It's the pool koozie. $3, $2 at Walmart or whatever, right? You can find whatever little foam there. Okay? So when you have to go into any sort of kneeling position, you want to lay this across. We're going to put this just under the kneecap, right there. So now, as you come up in the table, you're less engagement that way. The pressure is going to be more on just below the kneecap. So if you want to go a little bit lower, with it, actually it'd be a little more on the shin. You can do that, but your balance is going to be a little bit off. Coming up the table like that, coming back in the safety zone here. You can work with this. Come up here, coming up to neutral. Know though it's going to be a little bit tougher. So this is more of a transitional more than anything. Okay? Use this, make it your own. Use a little, know your body, know what hurts and what doesn't hurt. If pain is pain in our world. If it hurts, find some way around it. Don't, stop doing that. Find a way to modify. Okay? So these are just some things that I come up with. If you've got other stuff you want to see, shoot me a message. Let me know. I'll work it into a video here, and we'll help everybody out together. Right? So you got that. Or be on the balls of your feet here. Okay? If you're going to do that, being flat on your feet might have a little, give you a little bit different pressure here. So if you're on the balls of your feet here, okay? Then roll into down dog, back and forth there. All right. So I babbled a little bit, and I apologize, but that's kind of the way I roll. Like that way. So this is just a quick little thing that you can try doing. Again, you can also use pillows. Pillows are, you have a flatter pillow that you don't use very often. Double that up. You can even, if you want to, use your mat. Roll that up here like this. If you don't have a koozie. It doesn't give you as much cushioning there, but it's also not as much direct pressure on your knees either. That's an option too. Now this is also good for those people who have wrist issues, because the same koozie deal can also be used if you're going to be here. You want a little cushion for your wrists. You do it that way. You grip it. You grip it to the side like this. It's better if you have a fist there and just do it to your fist that way. too, because that way you're just making this strong here like this. But again, alignment here is very important here too, because you notice doing this out here makes it tougher. This makes it where you need to have this directly over your under your shoulder to really make that solid and make that work. So alignment's important. All right, babbled enough. Just some ideas, just some stuff for you to think about. But use whatever you can to own your workout and own this day. Because as I keep on saying it, I'll say it time and time again. If you can own this day, then you will own your life. Bang! See you later. Have a good weekend.